Welcome to the Dead Bedroom Revival Podcast. My name is Corey. We're swapped and rebranded. Very excited because we're now on this new venture. And one of the first questions we're going to tackle is when to walk away from a sexless marriage. Now, this is one of the most asked questions. That's what Google tells me. And it's a very important question to answer because when it comes to walking away, there's a lot more to lose than there is than working on it and then staying. And I'm not saying that you have to stay in that sort of environment because there's certainly different things that at play. And this question, I think I cannot just answer it in one episode because I'm going to try and keep them as short as possible. But I think I will do a series when it comes to this question so I can answer it from different perspective and hopefully get some other people to actually come and put some content to this or some context to this. But initially, when you think about a sexless marriage, it consists of you as a couple that you are having sex less than 10 times per year, or you could say at least once a month. And that can be very frustrating within a relationship from a male perspective because you need sex in order to feel validation, to feel attractive, to feel like that person wants you. And also it's just, we're just naturally built to want sex based on the fact that we pump a lot of testosterone. So therefore it makes it very difficult to go a long period of time without having sex. And within your relationship, and which is majority of people, there's no communication on how much or the frequency that you can agree on. So nobody sort of sits down and say, okay, let's agree on a frequency. We're going to be doing this at least 3 times a week, or be doing it at least twice a week, or even just committing to every Saturday that we're going to do it. And over a period of time, it can build frustration, and based on how you go about to seduce each other, the way it's handled in terms from your partner's perspective. So if she says no and you feel rejected, over a period of time, there's this built up resentment that comes up, and that built up resentment and frustration over a period of time just becomes you thinking that the relationship is completely bad and you just want out. Now, when it comes to a couple without children, it becomes an easier decision. If you're already married or it's just in a long-term relationship, there's other things that are in play, which sometimes you've bought a house together. There's financial tie-ins within your relationship. There's also, I think the major one is usually when there's children involved. Now, when it's children involved, it's very, very difficult because it's not just your wife that you're going to break their heart. It's also the children. And statistically, children that come from a split-up home find it very difficult to succeed in life. And not just, I'm not saying that's a blanket that everybody in that situation will not succeed, but emotionally, in terms of relationship, it becomes very difficult for them to be able to succeed within a relationship. So it's a very difficult area to think about, and you're probably wondering, well, so what do I do? Or not? Well, I think one of the things is that we feel like because it hasn't worked, in terms of the sexual mismatch, you might be better off somewhere else. Now, the truth is that the reason why you're in that scenario isn't because the low libido because of the low libido of your partner. Generally, it takes 2 to get to that point of a sexless marriage. And you've got to bear with me with this one. Unless that person has got a medical issue, so they've got something to do with depression, anxiety, and they're taking tablets which can inhibit that libido, or they've got something wrong down there, or in fact, in my personal experience, my wife, she's got fibromyalgia, so it sort of limited that sort of activity. Those are those contributing factors that you would have to discuss over a period of time and see what agreement you can get to. Most people don't want to discuss these sort of things because when you discuss it and then it becomes more of a chore, it's no different to get in the door because that person is now just there, to service you. And again, it doesn't create that experience where you feel validated, where you feel loved, where you feel, like it's a mutual seduction. And this is where the massive bit about it, that it's not enough just to have the talk about we need more sex or I need more sex. It's more to do with, when we have that conversation, are you prepared to get is she prepared to start giving herself in or putting herself out there in order to attract you as much as you're trying to attract her, so you can feel desired, or somebody is desiring you as much as you desire them. So again, coming back to that question, when is it great to leave, or when should I leave? One of the places, in fact, one of the cases that I've found where somebody had to leave was when the woman just came out and said, forget about sex. It's never going to happen. She just completely said, it's never going to happen. And he said, what should I do? And I think two cases I've heard that were similar. And I think the first one was, you're not having sex, you should forget about it, it should never happen. And then he said, what should I do? Does this mean it's okay for us to have an open relationship? She said completely no. I don't even want to see you or even hear that you've been with other women, and vice versa. I also spoke to another guy who was in the same situation. The woman said, I'm asexual. I've tried liking it. I pretended to like it. But if you want to go and see prostitutes, if you want to go and see other women for sexual favors, then it's not a big deal. So in the second scenario, that is probably a nice compromise, that she couldn't give him what he wanted in terms of the sexual validation, him feeling attractive, but she was okay with him going to get it from somewhere else as long as he stayed within the confine of the relationship. And then the other one, it was complete no. And I'm not saying go out and cheat. Do not cheat, because it's just another terrible thing to do on introducing into a relationship. But what I'm trying to say is, in a scenario where she will not want to be sexually active, there's no other way of resolving this, because it's a really, really important part of your life, and it can affect your mental well-being and your happiness. So it becomes very important that there is that sort of place where you can get that, because it's part of your makeup. I think regardless whether you got children or not, those are the things that you start thinking about, weighing, am I happy, or can I find some sort of happiness staying without it all? If the answer is no, and then I think it's probably the time where you start thinking about leaving your partner. And I think that's the only time you probably are in that position to leave, when it's a complete, I'm asexual, I don't like sex, I hate it. Yes, we've got 2 kids now, and I just do not want, or I got a kid or whatever, I do not want to do it ever again. I think at that point, and there's no budging, then definitely it's something that you now start thinking about, okay, this is where I can leave. If that's not the case, then there is definitely different steps that you can take in order to get back to where you were before. Because for you to actually get to this point where you are in a really long-term relationship or married, previously you must have had hot and heavy sex where you couldn't keep your hands off each other, and you were so excited to see them, and you were fantasizing about them, and there were so many emotions that were amazing about seeing them and wanting to be with them. And then all of a sudden that's gone away, and then over a period, whether it's because now you're now financially tied together, you've got jobs or kids have come into play, whatever has changed within your relationship, there's certain things that you can actually do. Because again, it comes back to the first point that I made. For you to have a dead bedroom isn't because one person has lost libido. It's a dual thing that has happened. You've contributed to the dead bedroom based on your behaviors. And again, it's not your fault because I didn't know either. I started contributing to my dead bedroom because there of the certain behaviors I was doing and the certain things I would do that would make it even more or make sex less of a priority than it should be within my relationship. So there's certain behaviors that you have to exhibit. There's certain behaviors that will reinforce your sexuality and will attract your partner and make them fancy you again. So those are the things that we'll be discussing on the next coming episodes, and we'll be talking about sexless relationships and marriages from now on, and how to treat that and how to actually move away from that sort of existence so you can be happier, not in just yourself, but also within your relationship. So when is it okay to leave? Only when she becomes asexual. She's not interested. She's not even interested in you going to see other people, and it's very important for you because it's now affecting your mental well-being. If you're suffering mentally, there's no way you can be a good dad. There's no way you can be a good husband. So it becomes very important for you to take yourself out of that situation, and then you get and fix yourself. And part of it is now you fixing yourself outside of the relationship. So that's the only time you can leave sexless marriage. Again, we're going to talk about this topic again. So this is probably season 1, episode 1 on when to leave a sexless marriage. Thank you very much. For more information and you want to learn more about the tactics on how to actually get that sexual desires matching and how to attract your wife again, or your partner, so you can have that sex life that you wanted and that you've always wanted, go to www.deadbedroomrevival.com. Again, it's www.deadbedroomrevival.com. Thank you.